Different sexualities. Sexuality or sexual orientation has to do with whom a person is or is not attracted to either sexuality or romantically. People may identify more one sexuality than another of different points in their lives. A person's sexuality or sexual orientation determines whom they do or do not feel attraction toward. This attraction is typically sexual or romantic. Sexual attraction typically describe a person's desire to have sex or form a sexual relationship with other people. It is also described physical attraction or lack thereof towards others. Romantic attraction can describe a person's expression of love within a relationship. This relationship does not have to be sexual, and a person does not have to experience both romantic and sexual attraction in order to have sexuality. There are a lot of sexual orientation, and people who identify with one or more find that that their sexuality can change over time. This is perfectly normal. A person's orientation can be fluid. Types of sexuality. Alloromantic. A person who identifies as alloromantic experiences romantic attraction to others. Allosexual. This is an umbrella term. A person who identifies as allosexual typically feels sexual attraction toward other people. They may also want to have sex with a partner. People who identify with this orientation may also identify with other sexuality such as being gay, lesbian, or bisexual. Androsexual. People who consider themselves androsexual feel attraction toward men, males, or perceive masculinity irrespective of whether or not they were assigned male at birth. Aromantic. A person who identifies as a romantic may not feel any romantic attraction toward anyone. People who are aromantic may not want a relationship beyond friendship. Those who identify with this orientation may also identify with another orientation. A person romantically attracted to people but can be sexually attracted to some. Attracted to some. Asexual. Asexual is an umbrella term that encompasses a broad spectrum of sexual orientation. According to the LGBTQIA Resource Center, asexuality is a spectrum. Such people may experience no sexual or romantic attraction to anyone, while others may experience varying degrees of sexual or romantic attraction to people. Some orientation that exist within the sexuality spectrum include sex averse. This is when a person is averse to or entirely disinterested in sex and sexual behavior. Sex favorable. This is when a person has possible feelings toward sex in some situation. Sex indifferent. This refers to those who feel neutral about sex and sex behavior. Sex repulse. This refers to those who are repulsed by sex and sexual behavior. Copiosexual. If someone identifies as copiosexual, they do not experience sexual attraction but still desire to engage in sexual behavior or have a sexual relationship. Lidious asexual. This term refers to those who are asexual and experience sexual feelings that they can satisfy with masturbation or self-stimulation. Gray sexual. Those who are gray sexual experience sexual attraction either infrequently or not very intensely. Gray romantic. People who identify as gray romantic may experience romantic attraction either rarely or not very strong. Auto romantic experience a romantic attraction toward themselves. Autosexual. Those who identify as autosexual experience a sexual attraction toward themselves. Similarly to those who are aromantic,
Autoromantic. Those who are autoromantic experience a romantic attraction toward themselves. Autosexual. Those who identify as autosexual experience a sexual attraction toward themselves. Similarly to those who are autoromantic, people who are autosexual may also experience sexual attraction to other people. Bicurious. People who identify as bicurious are interested in having a sexual or romantic experience with someone of the same gender. The term indicates that the person experiences some uncertainty as to how they identify romantic or sexually. Biromantic. People who identify as biromantic feel romantic, but not necessary sexual attraction to more than one gender. Bisexual. A person who identify as bisexual can be any gender. Bisexual means that a person feel attraction toward their own gender and other gender toward anyone regardless of their gender.
Some people who are demisexual may have no interest or only a slight interest in sexual activity. Gay. A person who identifies as gay typically one feels sexual attraction toward people of the same gender. Socially, people use this term to refer to men who are romantically and sexually attracted to men. However, those in the community use it as an umbrella term. Gisexual or gynosexual. People who identify as gisexual feel a sexual attraction toward women. Females are perceived femininity, irrespective of whether or not they were assigned female at birth. Heteromantic. Those who are heteromantic may experience romantic attraction but not necessarily sexual attraction to those of a different gender. Heterosexuality. People who are heterosexual or straight typically feel sexual and romantic attraction toward people who are of a gender different from their own. Homoromantic. Homoromantic refers to people who are romantically attracted to those of a similar gender to their own. They may not be sexually attracted to people of the same gender. Homosexuality. Homosexuality is a term describing those who are emotionally and physically attracted to people of the same gender.
However, the LGBTQIA Resource Center states that this term is outdated and may have negative connotation due to the past. Lesbian. Those who identify as lesbian are usually women who feel a sexual and romantic attraction to other women. Some non-binary people who do not identify with the traditional binary sexes, which is male and female, may also identify as lesbian. This may be because they feel a closer connection to womanhood and their mainly attraction to women. Monosexual. Monosexual is an umbrella term encompassing all sexual orientation that feels a romantic or sexual attraction toward only one gender. Some sexual orientation under this term include heterosexuality, gay, and lesbian. Multisexual. Multisexual is a broad term that encompasses all sexual orientation in which people are attracted to more than one gender. Some sexual orientation under this term include bisexual or omnisexual, pansexual, and omnisexual. This sexual orientation refers people who feels attraction, people of all gender and sexes. It typically identifier For those who are pansexual is a gender. It's not a hedge factor in sexual or romantic attraction. While there is overlap between these two terms, and bisexuality and polosexuality, some of people may refer to use one term over another.
Panromantic. This is a term that refers to those who experience romantic attraction, but not sexual attraction to someone of any gender of sex. Polysexual. People who identify as polysexual feel sexual or romantic attraction toward more than one gender. Queer. People of all sexualities under the LGBTQIA plus umbrella may also identify as queer. They may use the term queer to reclaim it, as historically many have used the term as a slur. Unless a person is a member of the LGBTQIA plus community, it is generally not a good idea to use this term. Scoliosexual. People who identify as scoliosexual typically only feel attraction toward people who are non-binary. Spectrasexual. Spectrasexual is a term that describes those who are romantically and sexually attracted to multiple sexes, gender, and gender identities, but not all of them.